Christmas time. That special time of year you spend with friends, family, and the ones you love. It is the day after Christmas. Got the day off. I'm gonna do some work in the garage, man, and I really want to focus on the Skyline. I want to get the Skyline out of here. It's time to get it to move on and do bigger and better things, and I'm really excited to see what this car could do, man. We're so close. All we gotta do is button up the fuel, make sure some electrical stuff is good to go, and then it's moving on. Dare I say we're driving it by the end of this. I think I dare to say this. But before we could do that, we actually have to do something kind of sad, but good at the same time. One of the objectives on the GTR is to make the engine bay pop, make it pretty, to make it show freaking amazing. The fuel rail that was on it was less than amazing, and it's just kind of jacked up. It's gonna take a lot of effort to get it cleaned up. We already planned on upgrading the fuel rail and the whole fuel system on the Z, so because the fuel rail on the Z is amazing, we're gonna actually donate that to the Skyline. And I guess donate's kind of a strong word, but it's gonna go, okay? I actually have to, unfortunately, kill the RBZ. So she's probably gonna be down for a few weeks. While I go ahead and remove the fuel rail from the RBZ to get installed into the GTR, I'm gonna actually show you guys some footage and some other clips of my time at Hot Import Nights this last weekend. It was really cool, man. I really enjoyed it. Let me put this little thing together, which I haven't done yet, but I will have done because you're just about to watch it, and it'll be amazing. So thumbs up. Pretty cool, right? It was, man. It was a good time. What you didn't see is how it all ended with this 5-person dance competition up on the main stage, where I ended up winning because I just acted the fool and did the dumbest crap I could possibly think of. Ended up winning an X-Wing fighter drone, which was pretty amazing because I really like Star Wars, and it's really fun, man. It actually does tricks and all kinds of cool stuff. So that might be a thing on the internet. Good luck finding it. If you do, you gotta let me know, because I'm not looking for it. Christmas is cool. I got 2 cool things that came into the garage. First, my dad came through and hooked me up with an impact wrench. I'm super excited about that. And Mrs. BC, dude, got the super hookup. Look at this. Freaking bug zapper light. If there's one thing I hate the most about this garage, it's freaking bugs, dude. Oh my gosh, the mosquitoes are the worst. They're gonna all die. Let me show you what I've got, because it's time to start putting things back together. So as you can see, the rail is out now, and that's all cool, all fine. Got the rail down here. We're looking at the project cart. We see we got the injectors here to put into the GTR. We got some other stuff. This is GTR stuff. The old injectors from the Z. These are the stock GTR injectors. Of course, we have chips today because it's raining. It's a perfect day for chips and just chilling in the garage. Here's the 2 rails, man. Look, this is the one that came out of the GTR. It's just raggedy, dude. Here's the one that was in my car. It's like factory fresh, but look at this. Little things like this, see the dent there, there's a slight crimping there, lots of stuff like that. This is why I told him, hey, I want to swap you out with this. Everybody's kind of winning out of this situation. I'm gonna get this new rail fitted with this fitting so we can run the aftermarket FPR. His injectors back in, which again, I still don't know the size of those. If anybody here knows, and really I don't know because I just haven't even looked into it, but gonna get this all fit up and start getting it on the engine. Why Nissan? Why? Why? All right, rail is completely put together. Time for its new home. Fuel rail is in, looking fine, fantastic, and funky fresh. Oh yeah, just got the fuel pressure regulator in. Originally, this thing was just mounted on one screw. I built this little bracket here that actually anchors it to another point, so now it's super stable. Now I just need to do all the plumbing, and yeah, our fuel system should be complete. After that, all I need to do is clean up all this little bit of wiring here. We're getting so close now, man. Oh my gosh, such a difference. Holy cow. I want to bring you back in and show you kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just getting everything really cleaned up, working on the vacuum lines. Next, we'll be working on getting all the electricals done. But one thing about this car, so this car, controlling it, the ECU is an Apexi Power FC. It uses these map sensors. They used to be mounted right here, zip tied to the balance tube. I've wanted to go ahead and move them. They had the vacuum lines coming off of the air collection tank down there. Got rid of that, trying to clean everything up. And so I've just tied them into the boost controller. So the boost controller actually gets its boost signal on this small bottom one. And it was tied into the back of the balance tube. Now I've teed into that. And then I mounted these two here at an angle. And this nice little Y here just branches out and feeds both of those. So now we're getting a reliable boost signal off of the same exact line. Now, right here, the power transistor unit will mount. So it just kind of hides those wires right there, really nice. Now I just got to run the vacuum line to our fuel pressure regulator over to here, cap off the ones that I opened up down there, start wiring this thing up, and man, we're just getting one more step closer to starting and driving. Quite a bit of time has passed, and we are much further along. You can see the wiring is all done. There just is no beautiful place to put this bundle of wiring. I think it works well. I think it's tucked nice. Throttle cable's now attached, and I was actually working on attaching the CAS, but unfortunately, because the bracket for it was powder coated on the inside, it's too tight of a fit and I cannot get the CAS in there, so I'm gonna have to sand the inside of that, get rid of that powder coat so it can actually fit. FYI, I was able to use the 300ZX things. It is actually pretty late now. It has been raining all day, like torrentially bad. We've been having lots of flash flood warnings for Honolulu and the area I live in. It's late. We're at a good time to go ahead and stop. I don't feel like tearing stuff apart. More RB goodness tomorrow. So it's the next day, well, the next night actually, and I've just been chilling out here in the garage, actually sitting on the floor with a mess of wiring all around me, man. And I just had some music on, just been kind of maxing and relaxing all night, just taking my time and rebuilding this wiring. So everything under the hood of the GTR is done at this point. One of the things that's just really kind of nuts about this car is the wiring. There's so much extra wiring because it was a drag car. And because the person felt the need to put as many gauges in the cockpit as there are in an aircraft, it was ridiculous, man. And it was all like 90s technology stuff too, man. It's really, really old. Everything's very mechanical. The one thing that's kind of crazy is soldering, man. Soldering under the hood. And that's a no-go, man, because solder breaks down. Over time, that stuff gets super brittle and it falls apart. You really shouldn't use soldering, especially under the hood. Inside the car, not so bad. Under the hood, definitely a no-go. Do you remember that mess of wires that were in the front corner? I tried to rearrange it, tried to move it around, tried to make the best of it, but it wasn't happening. So I took it out and started messing with it, and check this out. This is all that's left of it, man. I was trying to do the best I could with it. The wiring is so old and so brittle. It was just terrible. It was all falling apart. This solder joint here fell apart. It was no-go. Took really good notes, realized what needed to happen, and bought all fresh equipment, and I have now completely rebuilt this series of circuits. So 3 different circuits. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We're going into 3 different relays. Everything's ready here. Of course, it's not all cut to length yet. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna mount it to the side, and it should be nice and tucked away out of the view. Let me get it fitted. Probably gonna wrap it up tomorrow. Gotta get some gas, put it in the GTR, and with any luck, we'll be cranking, man. provided the wiring inside isn't bad. All the electrical is in, it is done, it is refurbished, and man, I am really happy with the result. You can see here there's a power junction. This is going to give power to all of the fuses that we need, and right over here are the circuits. Everything is wired up, everything's back the way it needs to be, everything is nice and neat. Everything is completely out of the way from the elements and ready to go if the owner decides to put another catch can in. Oil has now been put into the engine. Everything is ready to go. The only thing that we're missing now is gasoline. So I need to run to the store and actually get some gas. And then I think we're gonna be pretty much ready to go. One thing about this car is there are lots of extra wiring. And I think I've mentioned this a couple times, you know, lots of wiring for different gauges and all kinds of stuff. This box right here is actually full of all the junk that I took out of the inside. Like JDM AF is that whole entire box. And we'll go through some of that later when I get back, but I need to go get some fuel. Yeah, that way we can at least see if she'll start up, because I did have to rip some stuff out, some old car alarm and turbo timer and other junk. Hopefully the ignition's still good. We should start hearing her purr in just a minute. I've put 2 gallons of gas inside the GTR because I only have a 2-gallon can. Z is now outside. Let's take a look at the inside of the GTR so you guys can actually see really what I'm talking about here. So there's a lot of stuff I've already taken off the car. There used to be a huge like 5-inch odometer, tachometer there, bunch of other stuff. Look, if you look at this center panel, like it's got all kinds of craziness going on here. There were electronics stacked up here. There's more gauges in there. Underneath the dash is just this freaking nest of crazy wires. If I take you back to this box that I spoke of earlier, so the Momo wheel, look at this, like, so turbo timer, that's still good, tachometer, really old school. All of this I pulled out of the car, man, like random junk. Just this thing, it's battery powered, it's got a button in the middle, I think it's like disco lights, it was attached to the top. JDMAF. Like there's so much stuff in here. So here's the thing. I'm about to start the car for the first time since we started working on it, and I'm honestly expecting failure. I'm expecting failure. Success would be awesome. Failure is likely, just because there was so much ridiculous wiring in here, and there was fuel pump bypass stuff that I took out and redid and fixed and cleaned. It was a long time ago that I worked on this wiring, like months. I got it done and then I left it. Yeah. So let's see what she sounds like, man. Battery is now connected. Doing a once over on the engine. Everything is connected. Yep. Oil. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, that's fine too. Okay. Success is awesome. Failure is expected. Neutral. Neutral. Okay. Got some JDM mirror poppins. Got a fuel pump noise. System's primed. Here we go. I got no start signal, dude. Got nothing. We got nothing. Let me see what kind of craziness is going on under here. And yeah. Did I mention already that I really hate working on cars that have like a freaking bunch of junk wiring in it? Like the first thing I do anytime I buy a car, like even with my own Z, man, the first week it's going through and tearing out all the other crap, especially alarm systems, because sometimes alarm systems drain batteries for no freaking reason whatsoever. Even that little tiny blinking light, if you don't drive that car every day, it's gonna kill the battery all the time. You remember how I said I built these 3 different circuits, and one of them was to power steering something pump? No. It's not. I'm troubleshooting everything. I'm looking at every fuse. I'm looking at every relay. I'm looking at every fusible link. I'm looking at everything. I look online. I start looking through wiring diagrams, and I'm like, man, it's something with the starter. Something is not letting power get to the starter. So I start looking, and I'm like trying to find grounds, like maybe something's not grounded right. And I'm like looking for the ground on the starter, and I notice that there's a red wire attached to the ground of the starter. So for some reason, the ground on the starter was running through a relay as an inhibitor. So yeah, that's a thing. I took that circuit out, I put the freaking ground on the damn solenoid like it's supposed to be, and let's see what happens now. Okay, that's good. Let's keep going. Yeah. All right. We just need to get her some more fuel. I'm gonna do some more testing, probably go run and get some more gas, and then before the end of this, we're driving the GTR. The rewiring is done. Now both of the electrical fans are working just fine. I also cleared out a couple other things. All the power is working now to the gauges. Those are good. The boost controller is wired up. There's also like a differential torque manager that's also wired up. Everything's wired up. Everything's working just fine. Gauges, obviously the water temp is working, so I'm getting a reading on that. As far as everything else, I just ran and got one more 2-gallon tank of gas. Now it should be definitely above empty. I'm gonna fire her up, make sure everything's smooth. Yeah, let's just go roll around the neighborhood. Oh yeah. Man, the throttle is so sensitive on this thing. Holy cow. Senses about me, just kind of pay attention to what's going on here, and I'll be with you in a little bit longer. All right, man, back from the gas station. She's fully fueled up. Everything is good to go, but the turbo is actually smoking just a little bit. I need to do a couple little other checks here and there. I totally forgot that the power steering system was empty because I took out an old cooler that was there, but everything else, though, she's running really well. Definitely not breaking up with the fuel anymore like she was. But yeah, guys, the GTR is up and running. I mean, it sounds really good in here. I know it's super dark. I know you really can't see anything, but guys, success story. So just a couple more looking over, looky-loos, a final cleanup of the engine bay, and I think we'll be ready to go. Skyline's back in the garage. It is now in the hours of darkness, man. There's not much I could do, and the engine is just way too hot to touch. There is a little smoke coming off the turbo, and it's definitely oil smoke. Need to double check that fitting on the top. Also need to double check the fittings on the bottom. Just make sure we got a good seal overall, and that the oil is actually draining through it and it's not backed up somehow and now being pushed out of the journal bearings. So yeah, leaving that for tomorrow. Super successful day today, man. Drove it. This thing could be so much fun, but it is a drag car. Oh my gosh. Oof, tomorrow's gonna be a fun day. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a passenger so we can all experience it together. you saw, I just washed her up, got her all clean, spick and span, knocked all that dust and dirt off that's been collecting while it's been sitting here in the TueZday garage. Took it out for a drive, real conservative drive just around my neighborhood. Everything was looking good, feeling good, felt good about it. So I went ahead and went out a little bit further, was able to get onto the interstate real quick, and as I entered the interstate, went ahead and tried to give her some boost, and she freaking boosted up hard, man. She boosted up hard. It didn't come on like a crazy break your neck. It was very slow and subtle, and I don't even think I really got up there in RPMs, but I was already well over the speed limit, so I needed to stop and slow down. As you can see, I've got a fan right there because I need to cool her back down because that turbo is still smoking a bit. I'm gonna let her cool down. It's gonna take some time, and then we're gonna fiddle with that hose. By then, hopefully, all things work out to grab one of my kids and take them along with me. And yeah, should be a good time, man. I'm stoked. The owner's stoked. Everybody's stoked. I hope you're stoked. Thumbs up. A little bit of good news, a little bit of bad news. As you can see, the turbo is once again smoking. I let it cool down completely. I actually took everything oil related apart, made sure there was no obstructions, no blockage. I even took compressed air and blew it through the top and felt it out the bottom. Everything was good to go. Nothing was in the way. All the lines are fine. Anyway, went out on another drive. Everything was fine. Didn't have any smoke. Everything was good. But once I started boosting again, that's when we started getting oil smoke again. So I'm fairly certain that this turbo has got some blown bearings or bad seals or something inside of it. Probably needs some rebuilding. There's nothing else that would be causing this except for something internal to the turbo. So short of rebuilding the turbo, yeah, that's what we've got going on now. So that kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to leave it up to the owner. So as far as the GTR is concerned, this car is done and it's ready to go back to the owner. While I was outside, I was stopped on a hill. I had to wait for a guy to make a left-hand turn. From first and second gear, I got all the way through the freaking range to about 7,000 RPM. And dudes, I'm here to freaking tell you this thing pulls hard. It pulls hard, man. The boost controller registered 107 kPa, which is roughly about 15.5 PSI. And oh my gosh, man, it was like, holy crap. It sounded like a jet engine like starting up. It was insane. It was insane. Wow. So it's boosting really hard and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Obviously huge turbo, so it takes a long time for that dude to get spooled up and for it to actually start, making results. Again, the smoking, but everything else about it, man, is fixed. The guy brought it here. This thing was limping. It was barely running, overheating. It's not doing any of that now. The engine's clean. It's showroom ready. It's pretty. The fuel system's been completely redone. Inside is actually super pleasant because you don't have the extreme annoying whine of 2 fuel pumps. We actually upgraded the fuel system, so there's a higher capacity fuel pump. New fuel line. All the fuel system itself has been cleaned up and remanaged. Wire tucking, redoing electrical circuits, engine dress up, oil change, fluids change. This car's legit. And word on the street is he's actually gonna sell it. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably tinker with it a little bit more tonight, just clean up some last minute things, do some last minute polishing. Anyway, Amici, I think that's gonna do. Wait, you know what? That's not gonna do it. I can't close you out like this. I gotta take you on a ride. I gotta let you experience this boost. Unfortunately, it just started raining, so if we don't do it later tonight, we will definitely do it tomorrow, and then we'll say our goodbyes. All right, so as promised, we're gonna go do a little bit of running around in the GTR. I got Q in the car with me. He's gonna be the cameraman. Just gonna take a little bit of warm-up lap around the neighborhood, maybe go get on the interstate a little bit, couple spirited pulls, just so you guys can kind of experience what I'm experiencing, and then, yeah, I think we'll do up some paperwork, give the owner a call, and tell him everything's good to go. Got Q in the car with me, man. We're gonna head off. This thing's doing good. So last night I actually took it out and met up with some Z guys, VQ Inc. Hawaii. And actually, it was great. I met up with some other folks last night out in Pearl City, and good conversation, good times. It's time to wrap this whole build up, and we're gonna do it with a little bit of a voyage together. It's very bumpy. Yeah, so one of the things that the owner contacted me last night actually and asked me to do something about the ride. I think when he was trying to get this thing to pass recon, they tried to raise the car because it's on coilovers, and I think instead of actually extending the coilover, I think he compressed the springs. So I think the springs are way too preloaded, and I guess I'll try and fix that for him. But it's brutal.
Yep.
Holy crap!
Did not expect that.
Alright, we're gonna go under a cool bridge here in a second. And it's only like 15 pounds. 15, 16 pounds of boost. Alright, we got about maybe 2 more good places to hit some gusto.
I'm ready.
Are you now?
I hope so. They're cutting us off.
Back to the house. This will be the last boost as long as there's no good traffic.
Got the green light.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Looking forward to getting one of these things of my own, or for the day that my Z becomes as powerful as this thing, man. Holy cow. It'll be good. We're well on our way. Next upgrade for the Z is fuel. After that, we're gonna start working on the cams and all that business. Try and increase that side of the house, and then long-term span, we're talking turbos. Gonna keep the twin turbos, but I definitely want to go with a dual top mount. It's gonna be sick. So anyway, guys, that's it. Big thanks to my cameraman Q. He's been keeping it real and helping me out a lot this episode. So guys, that's all for now. Ciao a tutti. Thanks again for tuning in to all the GTR action, and aloha. Happy New Year.